King Shark is Hawaii's resident beach supervillain, and he's recently flown into public consciousness with appearances in at least 3 high-profile multimedia properties. But is he a very manly shark or a very sharkly man? Let's find out. Please send me best wishes from the future, because this is my 3rd try at recording this video. I don't want to go into the details of the problems I've had, but let's just say it's enough to make a guy want to quit sometimes. But yet, here I am. And now, talking King Shark. Real name, is that Nanu? I mean, is it like Mork from Ork? Nanu? I mean, he is Hawaiian, so maybe it's got a pronunciation like Nanawa'i. I don't know. I just have to go ahead and apologize now for a long life of mispronunciations. Originally an enemy of Superboy, King Shark would go on to be one of the good supervillains, with membership in both the Secret Six and the Suicide Squad. He was created by writer Carl Kessel and artist Tom Grummett. King Shark's first appearance was in Superboy number 0 in 1994, and to be honest, that seems kind of like a recent creation. King Shark seems like one of those silly concoctions they would have come up with back in the Silver Age when they really loved silly characters. But of course, if King Shark was a Silver Age creation, his name would have been Sharkman, and he probably would have just been a man in a shark suit. So why do I like King Shark? What's not to like? He's a shark with arms and legs. I mean, he does still have the dorsal fin, but those other fins have become like humanoid arms and legs. He doesn't have a tail, and fortunately he wears pants. Unless it's a special occasion, then he breaks out the loincloth. He stands over 7 feet tall, he's nearly 400 pounds, and that's all fishy muscle. There's no blubber on that bad boy. During the New 52 era at DC, he was drawn to look like a hammerhead shark, but in most of his depictions, he usually looks a lot more like a great white. And I'd also like to say that humanoid sharks must have really been in the public zeitgeist in the early 90s, because King Shark was born in the exact same year as street sharks. It should come as no surprise that King Shark does have some special abilities. Being a shark-human hybrid, he can survive both on land and at sea. However, they don't really make it clear if he's restricted to salt water or if he also does okay in fresh water. DC kind of tries to tiptoe around that one. He's an excellent swimmer. Some might even say he's better than Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps. He's also really good at biting stuff. I mean, what's the point of having all those teeth if you're not going to bite stuff? He also has the proportionate strength of a shark. How strong is that? I don't know, but it's got to be stronger than a regular dude. And additionally, he can sense and call out his shark cousins. However, one caveat to that power is that once they get there, he can't really control them. From what I understand, sharks are fiercely individualistic and independent creatures. If you don't believe me, just go try to train a shark. Do it, I dare ya. So what's King Shark's story? Born in Hawaii, Nanu is a humanoid shark. He states that his father is the king of all sharks, Camo the shark god. However, some human observers think he's full of chum because they really think he's just some kind of mutated beast. But that debate was put to rest in Aquaman Sword of Atlantis, where his parentage is firmly proven to be that of the father who is Camo the shark god and a mother who's a human Hawaiian woman. Personally, I really liked my headcanon where he was the product of a guy who liked fish just a little too much. King Shark first made waves as a villain by being responsible for a string of missing persons on the Hawaiian Islands. But in King Shark's defense, he wasn't just some kind of psychotic serial killer. He actually ate what he caught. Eventually, King Shark was caught, or should I say landed, when tough as nails Hawaiian detective Sam Makoa brought him in with what the detective described as, quote, a combination of heavy weaponry and sheer luck. Also, he had a bunch of other Hawaiian cops to help him. Many of those people died in the battle because, as they always say, if you're not shark, you're shark food. As a result of the way that shark hunt went down, King Shark made a lifelong enemy in the personage of Detective Sam Makoa. When Superboy arrived in Hawaii, a gang of villains who had been running the place, a group called the Silicon Dragons, well, they broke King Shark out of prison hoping to use him as a weapon against Superboy. However, unfortunately for the Silicon Dragons, King Shark immediately ate his would-be rescuers, because like I said before, if you ain't shark, you're shark food. Once he was free, King Shark did what every newly freed convict does on his first day out of prison. He went to see his mama, and then he ate her arm. Now, in all fairness, this was consensual. She let him eat her arm. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but I guess a mother's love knows no bounds. The day after King Shark's escape, Detective Makoa told Superboy all about King Shark, and this led directly to a confrontation between Superboy and the king of all sharks on the beach. It was a solid beach brawl, but in the end, Superboy came out victorious when he used his eye beams to blast King Shark directly in the face. A few months later, Superboy is assigned to work with the Suicide Squad to bring down the aforementioned Silicon Dragons. Also, at that same time, Amanda Waller had just assigned King Shark to work with the Suicide Squad, and King Shark's addition to the squad made perfect sense at the time because it just so happens that they were going after the Silicon Dragons' hidden base, a base that was under the sea. And you heard that right, Sebastian. They were coming for you. The fact that King Shark was in his element shone brightly as he proved to be an underwater fighting machine, taking out all the Silicon Dragons that got in his way in impressive style. Ultimately, King Shark was knocked out by Suicide Squad member Knockout, and when this happened, she knocked him into the secret base's reactors. The explosive belt Amanda Waller had placed around King Shark's waist to keep him under control, it exploded, then the reactors exploded, of course the base exploded, and as far as everyone knew, King Shark exploded. But we know King Shark didn't really die, don't we? Because it's a comic book, and nobody really dies in comics. Except for Uncle Ben. May he rest in peace. King Shark turned up alive and as deadly as ever in Superboy number 32. But he tried to bite off more than he could chew when he went Sharko y Mano with Superboy. The result of the fight was that King Shark was driven back to the murky depths of the Pacific Ocean. He tried his luck again with the Boy of Steel in issue number 66, this time showing up in the Wildlands, a place where a half-man, half-shark fits in way better than the beautiful and scenic beaches of Hawaii. King Shark put up a better fight this time, but he still found himself swimming away in defeat. King Shark lay dormant for several years this time before re-emerging as a member of the League of Villains. He was trying to step up his game this time. He went from fighting Superboy to fighting the big kahuna, Superman himself. But if you're 0-3 with the boy, you really don't want to step in the ring and try to eat knuckle sandwiches from the man, because King Shark's cartilaginous skeleton was no match for the Man of Steel when he got what the kids call KTFO'd. Somehow King Shark managed to keep falling up, because the next time he showed up, it was with membership in the secret society of supervillains that had been assembled by Alexander Luthor Jr. He used King Shark as part of a team to attack the underwater city of Atlantis, which had taken to calling itself Sub Diego at the time. King Shark teamed up with an obvious compadre for this attack, fellow supervillain simply named the Shark, along with Black Manta, and they jumped into the fray. King Shark did succeed in killing everyone's favorite aquatic superhero. That's right, Neptune Perkins. And as a result, he took a trident to the gizzard courtesy of Aquaman himself. 1 year after Infinite Crisis, in a story arc appropriately named 1 year later, King Shark shows back up in the pages of Aquaman. The events of Infinite Crisis seem to have changed King Shark to a degree. He seems to have mellowed out on the violence. He actually seems to be interested in conversation. We see him behaving more like a character and less like a monster. He also becomes, I don't know if you'd call it a sidekick, a mentor, a caretaker, whatever you want to call it, he becomes a partner with Aquaman for a while. This all happens because a new incarnation of Aquaman saves King Shark from a group of aggressive Ariotic raiders that are attacking him under the sea. And in return for the favor, King Shark agrees to provide aid and watch over Aquaman. King Shark makes for a surly and snarky, but also loyal partner to Aquaman. A contributing factor to King Shark's loyalty to Aquaman is because his father, Camo the Shark God, wants an inside man close to the underwater hero so that when the time is right, he can stab him in the back. His father says, "You will be my agent in his camp. close enough to guard against others who seek to control him, and close enough when I decide the time is ripe to strike and kill him without warning. Despite this, King Shark seemed to avoid murdering Aquaman up until the events of Final Crisis occurred. After Final Crisis, we see King Shark in the pages of Secret 6. He seems to have had a rough time during Final Crisis because now one of his arms have been amputated and it's growing back as this little nubby looking thing. And when he gets into the battle, once again, he finds out he cannot beat the people he's fighting because he loses to the Secret 6. In Adventure Comics number 3, for some reason, Krypto brings an unconscious King Shark to Smallville and deposits him as a present for Superboy. And instead of a loving reunion between Nanu and Superboy, what Krypto sees is a stern scolding coming toward him from Kon-El. In the New 52, King Shark got an artistic makeover to look more like a hammerhead shark. Also in the New 52, we find that Amanda Waller is aggressively coercing King Shark to be a member of the Suicide Squad. However, things don't work out quite so well for the aggressive negotiators assigned to the task. And the last time I saw King Shark was in Teen Titans number 7. He picks a fight with the squad and has a real good Donnybrook, an old good time dust up with the teenaged heroes. He lures them to his home turf, which appears to be some kind of underwater prison, but ultimately he is no match for the 1-2 punch of Damian Wayne and Aqualad. As he faces defeat, we see him escape. He swims away only for the reader to discover that he was working for Black Manta. Now, King Shark has made his way beyond the comic book page. We've seen him in lots of media, both live action and animation. King Shark appears on the Arrowverse television series The Flash. He appears on screen as a computer-generated image, but he's voiced by renowned voice actor David Hayter, who's known for many things, including some excellent video game work. In the Harley Quinn animated show, available on the DC Universe and HBO Max, we see a more lovable version of King Shark. This time, the voice is provided by wonderful voice actor, always a fun guy, Ron Funches. Because I can't get enough Ron Funches. I love my Funches in bunches. I binge watch this show from time to time. And most excitingly, the character will make his cinematic debut in James Gunn's 2021 movie, The Suicide Squad, this time portrayed by famous comedic actor Steve Agee. King Shark remains a fairly singular character, without a lot of similar types. I guess you could put the Green Lantern villain, the Shark, in his category. I mean, he does have Shark in the name, but look at the guy. I guess you could also count Grizzly Shark. I mean, if you're really reaching and you want a good independent comic character to compare to King Shark, I think Grizzly Shark qualifies. And definitely, hands down, no questions asked, Shark Farmer also counts, because Shark Farmer is as much a King Shark type as there can be. But in the end, I'd say if you really want a sharkin' good time, you gotta stick with King Shark. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and until next time, remember, heroes are super.